Yo, what's up? This is CJ. We're talking UFC 142, Aldo versus Mendes. This card is a pay-per-view card. It's not going to be for free. The card is going to feature a bout between Anthony Rumble Johnson and Vitor Belfort, as well as Mike Masazio versus Husamar Polares, Carlo Prater versus Eric Silva, got Terry Edom versus Edson Barbosa, Thiago Tavares versus Sam Stout, Edinaldo Oliveira versus Gabriel Nopal Gonzaga, Michiro Amigawa versus Yuri Alcantara, Ricardo Funch versus Mike Pyle, Kyle Magales versus Fabio Maldonado, Felipe Arantes versus Antonio Carvalho, and I do apologize if I've mispronounced some of those last names. I'm pretty sure I have. Well, let's get it underway. Starting out with Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendes. Personally, I don't think it's going to be that great of a fight. I look for Jose Aldo, whatever you want to call him, to come out with the victory. And I think that this fight may go the distance. If it doesn't go the distance, I predict that it'll be over by round two. But Jose Aldo depends on what he wants to do with the fight and how he's feeling. I know he's fought with injury in the past. If he's feeling good and comes in, I don't look for it to be much of a fight. If he does have some ailing side effects from injury or whatever, I think it could go the distance, although taking it, of course. Anthony Rumble Johnson versus Vitor Belfort is really the fight that I want to see. Nothing against the main event, but that fight excites me. Anthony Johnson at his peak, he's a murderer. The guy can knock people out. Vitor Belfort, you can say the same. But Anthony Rumble Johnson is coming up in weight for this fight. It's going to be his first fight at middleweight. And I look for Vitor Belfort to actually win this fight by knockout. I'm predicting a round one knockout. Although I would like it to go further. I still think it'll be a good fight. And I think Vitor ultimately will win. Mike Vicenzio versus Usmar Polares. I look for Polares to win that fight. Carlo Prater versus Eric Silva. You pick him. I'll go ahead and take Eric Silva because his last name is Silva. When we look at Terry Edom versus Edson Barbosa, when I think of the name Edson Barbosa, I also think Leandros Barbosa. Although totally different guys, I'm going to go ahead and take Terry Edom in this fight. Thiago Tavares versus Sam Stout. Interesting fight. Could go either way, but I'm going to take Sam Stout. Now, this is a fight I'm looking forward to. We've got Edinaldo Oliveira versus Gabriel Nopal Gonzaga. I like Gabriel Gonzaga. He's struggled a bit at the heavyweight division. He's shown that he has what it takes to be a threat there, but he might be kind of a gatekeeper kind of guy. He might be inspired after getting cut from the UFC. They're welcoming him back, Gabriel Gonzaga, for this fight. And I think that he's going to win this fight. He's going to be motivated, and he'll come out and show that he belongs in the UFC. Michihiro Omigawa versus Yuri Alcantara. Honestly, don't know a whole lot about these guys. They are fighting at featherweight. I'm going to go ahead and take the Alcantara gentleman just because of, I don't know why. It's Ricardo Funch versus Mike Pyle at welterweight. Mike Pyle, a seasoned veteran. Ricardo Funch is the guy that I'm going to take as the victor. And then when we look at Kyle Malgalhes versus Fabio Maldonado, again, I don't know a lot about these guys. It's going to be a light heavyweight fight. So we're looking at 205. And they both have cool first names. Fabio is the one guy's name, and Cal, I believe, is how the other one's pronounced. So I'll go ahead and I'll go with Fabio. See if Fabio can pull out the victory. And then Felipe Arantes versus Antonio Carvalho. Again, don't know either one of these guys. Fighting at featherweight, I'm going to go ahead and take I'll take Antonio. So that's UFC 142. It's a card that is, to me, on paper, mediocre, but you never really know how these things turned out. I mean, I've seen cards on paper that look like they were going to be awesome that turned out to be duds, and I've seen cards that look like duds on paper that ended up being awesome. So right now, it doesn't look like a huge one. Unfortunately for the UFC, a lot of pay-per-view buys are based on what people see on paper, and this doesn't look like it's going to be one of the higher selling cards for the UFC in 2012. But nevertheless, I think it could be good. It's worth tuning into. Again, UFC 142, Aldo versus Mendes. Looking forward to it.